Now, this story tells that small is not weak, and powerful does not mean big. Perhaps the greatest tale among these is the tale of David and Goliath. Long ago, there was a great battle between two ancient enemies, the Hebrews and the Philistines. Both armies stood ready on the battlefield with swords and shields of all shapes and sizes. Both armies possessed huge war elephants, which were turbans in which spear-throwing warriors sat. Birds of prey and trained vicious dogs were also held in rank, ready to spring upon their enemy. Each army stood silently, fiercely anticipating the murderous battle. But out from the ranks of the Philistines stepped a man, a giant, a monster by the name of Goliath! And this man bellowed out in a voice that made the mountains cringe, "Hebrews! I, Goliath, shall endure with you thy man-to-man combat, and the winner of this combat shall claim the entire battle for his own army." And while each and every Hebrew stood back in fear and horror, even the elephants winced as the gaze of Goliath whipped past them. Not one man volunteered to fight this monster, until finally David stepped out. The Hebrews tried to grab him. Was he insane? David was not even a warrior. He had only come to cook food and play music for the troops in the evening. But David ran forward, and in the voice of a child he said, "I shall fight you, Goliath!" The laugh of Goliath echoed through the valley. You are a child, an insect, a shrimp, a shorty, a squirt. I'll bet you haven't even been in bar mitzvah yet. You insignificant shadow, let me splash you!" the giant roared. "Laugh, Goliath, laugh," smiled David, "for it shall be your last." So with that, David withdrew a crystal stone and a slingshot. Then he began to sing and swayed as if dancing. Periodically he'd glance up and smile at the giant. Then he'd wave and sing to the Philistines. Goliath was amazed. You see, among fighters, he was at home, and he was a master of conflict. But he was hypnotized by the song of David. He was mesmerized by the joy of David. He was tranquilized by the appearance of calmness of the boy that stood singing and dancing on the battlefield before him, and like a moth being led into a flame. Goliath stupidly lowered his sword and his shield and clumsily walked towards David. 6,000 soldiers stood silently on the battlefield. No whinny or bark came from the animals. The only sound was the swirl, swirling of David's slingshot, and then snap! 6,000 soldiers watched as a single crystal stone flew silently through the sky. 6,000 soldiers watched as it hit Goliath on the right side of his eye. And 6,000 soldiers watched as the great giant flopped onto the muddy field and died. Well, the Hebrews, they yelled victoriously, and the Philistines ran immediately, and David, that kid, that musician, that child, became the new hero of the Hebrew people.